Hello, it's Melina. I wanted to talk to you all about heavy metals and why you might be interested in doing heavy metal detox, um, and what heavy metals in your body can cause, which is basically a bunch of havoc, um, but not for everybody. At least it's not always noticeable. So heavy metals are all in our environment. I mean, they're all over the place. They're in our water. They're in our on our food. Through pesticides or water. Um, they're in the air around us. um, and most people know that they're in vaccines. Um, so some of those things are more obvious than other things, and there's other ways you can get heavy metals, right? Like by using metal spoons and forks and knives and dishes or pots and pans. It goes on and on and on. So basically, over time, our bodies continue to accumulate this heavy metal load. Um, and this is a huge subject that I still am learning about myself, so I'm not going to dive into it too much. It would probably be a very long video anyway. But I wanted to kind of just give like a basic understanding on why you would want to detox heavy metals from your system, and kind of help people understand that everyone on the planet could benefit from this. If you're on this planet at this time, you have heavy metals in your system. And a lot of people have done detoxes of some sort, but the thing is, even if they're heavy metal specific, most of the heavy metal detoxes out there are not doing the trick. And this is because ideally you want this team of 5 supplements and foods that work together to make sure that the heavy metals get ushered completely out of your system, and don't get dropped off somewhere else and then cause a problem in another place in your body. So, and those 5 foods are dulse, which is a sea vegetable, spirulina, wild blueberries, barley grass juice powder, and then cilantro. Most people are aware of the cilantro and the spirulina, but all these 5 supplements and foods work together and do various things, work with various metals, work with various processes in getting it picked up and absorbed and carried completely out of the body. So those are the 5 things. And if you want to know the specific doses and how you can incorporate those, I'll give a link to that below this video. And this is not my information, this is the medical medium's information, but this is something that I'm using, as well as many other people I know. So that's the specific ingredients that you might want to consider incorporating into your day. This is an ongoing process. It takes time. Heavy metals accumulate in your body throughout your life, and I am now learning that we all have heavy metals in our body when we're born, because they're passed down through blood, through generations, and ever since basically mercury has been mined, which started 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, we have been having it slowly build up in our systems over to a couple thousand years, right? So that's a lot of mercury. Not to mention in the 17 and 1800s, people started drinking mercury at the doctors. They would go in, no matter what ailment they went in for, they would end up drinking mercury, which is crazy. So that added a whole nother layer of toxicity to the human system, and we're still dealing with that. Even if we weren't alive back then, none of us were, of course, but we're still dealing with and recovering from that. And mercury is only one of all these heavy metals, right? Aluminum, copper, cadmium, lead, all these things we are exposed to on some level. Now, we all have different degrees of exposure based on what we've done in our lives. And we all have different places that these metals deposit and or oxidize, and that's really the key thing that causes havoc in our systems. And I'm not going to go into all of that right now, but it's a really in-depth issue, and I bring it up because not just because I've been dealing with it, because I see a lot of people around me dealing with illnesses that are linked very closely, if not directly, to heavy metals. And a couple of them would be Alzheimer's, ADHD, autism. Those three specifically are, at least my understanding at this point, again, this comes from the medical medium, not just him, but he's definitely the one like focusing more in depth on the heavy metals and linking them to these chronic ailments. So basically, yeah, the ADHD and autism and Alzheimer's all are directly linked to heavy metal toxicity in the brain. And, it depends on where it lands in the brain, where exactly in the brain, the different levels and where the deposits are made, to which degree the severity is, right? But, it's much more complex than this. There's all kinds of pathogens, basically, that also people are being affected by, like Epstein-Barr and strep and shingles. These things are fed by heavy metals. And so people who have these autoimmune conditions, these chronic illnesses that they're told are one thing but really are another, they're being directly affected, and they're being directly affected, but also heavily brought down by these heavy metals in their system, because these pathogens that are causing the autoimmune conditions are being fed by the heavy metals. And the heavy metals themselves also give off neurotoxins in the system, especially the longer they're there, the older the deposits are. So I know it's kind of getting into like these different little cul-de-sacs here, but I just want to share with you the importance of really anyone here who's living on the planet at this time, is that we are all exposed to heavy metals throughout our lifetime, but the industrialization and the chemicals and just the way that most of the manufacturing processes of food, it's just it's laden, just like everything's laden with metals. And this isn't meant to like scare everyone. It's meant to empower you and inform you, because this is something that's important and it's kind of scary, but also you can do what's needed to rid your body of these things. So that's what I'm doing. Most days, I try to do it every day, but some days I don't, because I'm detoxing so much. I try to give my body a break. But most days I do a heavy metal detox smoothie, and it's pretty intense. And I'm not even doing the full dose yet. I'm still working my way up after 5 months of this. So it takes some time, but it's totally worth it. And those of you who have different autoimmune conditions, or have ADHD or autism, or have your children have, I highly recommend looking more into this, and specifically this protocol for detoxing the heavy metals, because as I said, it's very important you do it the right way so that it's safe and effective, and it's really completely attacked on all levels, all the metals in all the parts of the body. So again, I'll put that link below to the heavy metal detox smoothie and other links that you might find helpful. So hopefully you found this beneficial and informative, and feel free to reply, respond, comment, ask questions. Thanks. Take care. Happy healing. They're also known to be actually a huge contributor to anxiety, depression, memory loss, various other mental states that are less than ideal. So, and I'm pretty sure most of us know many people, if we ourselves do not deal with anxiety, depression, or memory issues, or focus issues. Like, these are all directly linked to heavy metal toxicity, especially in the brain.